66 lucky dude. I'm trying to field your comments here after, getting all this information out of my system. 66 lucky dude makes the important point. With that said, how fresh is Darwin Barlow? He's running like a man. Yes. And again, being fresh, not getting many carries with Travis Dye and also Austin Jones locking it down for most of the season. And so, yeah, Barlow was that closer. He was like the relief pitcher that you bring in for 6 outs in the 8th inning. Your starter gives you 6 innings, and then you get through the 7th. Maybe you get through a really tight spot, and then you bring in your closer to get 6 outs in the 8th and 9th. That was Darwin Barlow. 2 great runs to give USC its final touchdown and what turned out to be the winning points. And so, credit Riley. Like maybe he thought that Austin Jones either was a little bit spent or just that UCLA needed to see something new. Like that was a curveball that he could throw. A lot of baseball metaphors here, but they all apply pretty well. So give Lincoln Riley credit for using Darwin Barlow late in this game to make a difference for USC. And while we're talking about coaches using players, talked about Alex Grinch having the foresight to use Corey Foreman. We talked about Lincoln Riley, having the foresight to use Darwin Barlow, another USC coach who has really shown great care and wisdom in terms of juggling players. Josh Henson, the offensive line coach. So having mentioned that Andrew Voorhees and Bobby Haskins were close to full strength for this game, you got to give it up to Josh Henson guiding this offensive line because he was able to juggle the workloads. And he had to sprinkle in a little bit of Mason Murphy in these Arizona, Colorado weeks. He had to work in Gino Quinones a little bit at times during the season. Like Henson really calibrated well just how much rest he had to give to various offensive linemen and, being able to sit them out for just enough games so that they would get just enough strength back for the UCLA game. I mean, it was a real juggling act in terms of not just where to slot people in along the offensive line. That was part of it, but it's also, how much do we risk playing versus not playing players? Like how much can we get away with in the non-big game weeks against the Arizonas, Cals, and Colorados of the world versus the other point, how much time do we need to get them on the field so that they are reasonably sharp against UCLA? So striking that balance of not pushing them too hard to keep them fresh, but also giving them enough reps that they don't get stale and they don't lurch into bad habits. A lot of juggling considerations there for Josh Henson, and he really played his cards right, and he deserves a lot of credit. So many good performances, not just from the players and from Lincoln Riley, but also from this coaching staff. That definitely has to be mentioned as part of this larger picture. So, and yes, Roger Dodger. Bobby Haskins, the Virginia transfer, has a really emotional game. Yes. And it was, Corey Foreman hugging Lincoln Riley. Man, that really hit you in the gut. Also, Bobby Haskins, a very, very emotional moment for him after this game, obviously helping his USC teammates and helping USC win a huge game against UCLA. But a part of Bobby Haskins' heart and mind were in Charlottesville during this absolutely devastating, sad, tragic week. That was definitely another centrally powerful moment from this USC experience against UCLA.